Hey everyone, pleasure to be here with you today. I'm excited to talk to you about a topic called the SaaS trust crisis and the role of reviews. Super excited to be here with you today and spend this next 20 to 30 minutes together. Two asks. One, please write down your questions. At the very end, you're going to hear about how you can put your questions and we can dialogue on those directly. Second, as with any time I like to spend with people, I really truly hope it is a valuable use of time and you're able to walk out with at least one thing you can take into action. At events like this in Fluitive Live, there's always plenty to hear. So please don't try to take away too much from this. Write down one thing that you feel you can take back to your organization. And at the end, I'm going to ask you to try to share that one thing with others to hold ourselves accountable. So thanks again for taking this journey with me. Let's get started. Let me tell you a story about reviews. One of the co-founders here at G2 is a man by the name of Mark Myers. Mark had a friend who purchased a used car. That used car, after he purchased it, started giving him some problems. Here in the Midwest, we definitely have some scorching summers. They get pretty hot. And this car's air conditioning, turns out, wasn't working too well as it had some engine issues. So the purchaser called the used car dealership, explained the situation, and tried to rectify the situation with them. The car dealership did not want to do anything about this. So the purchaser obviously was pretty upset. After multiple failed attempts, he couldn't find a resolution here. Weeks go by and he ends up getting a phone call from the same dealership. Sir, if you'll take it down, we'll be happy to fix your car for you. So the purchaser was confused. Take it down. Take what down? Sir, please don't play with this. We know you know about the review and the impact it's having. Lo and behold, this man had vented at his dinner table to his family about this car purchase. His son, younger and a bit more in tune with how feedback can be given, took it upon himself to write a review publicly about this dealership. This review got the dealership some bad press, which was causing business impact. This then spurred the dealership to reach out and offer to fix this. So the first experience where that person, the purchaser, went to that dealership and tried to rectify the issue was not met with success. But a public review written about it for the public to see did meet it with success. Why do I share this with you? I hope you can see the power of a review. So what do we know about reviews? I'm sure we're all familiar with them. You can think of Glassdoor, where people will go and write reviews around companies or salaries, and they want to look up that information. TripAdvisor, maybe what you're doing is planning for an upcoming trip with your family, and you want to look up how good a hotel is. TripAdvisor is a way that you can go, look at these stats, read reviews, and write reviews. Yelp, where you can go to learn about restaurants and food. Right now, as we're all living during COVID, I'm sure some of you are ordering out more often. Yelp can help you identify those. Or maybe you're taking a trip to a great location you found via TripAdvisor, and you want to look for the best restaurant to stay at while you're there, maybe in the future after COVID. You can do that on Yelp. So what is G2? G2 is where I work, and G2 captures similar reviews, but about software. So if someone is looking to purchase a new piece of software or replace a software for their company or business, they can come to G2 to read reviews about that software and see what the public is saying. So who am I and why would you want to spend this 20 to 30 minutes with me? Well, I'm a husband, proud husband of 13 years. I'm a father of three wonderful kids adopted from Uganda, Africa. And more importantly for this, I am a product leader at G2. G2 that I just explained to you is all about capturing reviews for software. I've been in the digital area for about 15 years, working both in software companies as well as marketing companies. And I've been with G2 for a little over 4 years in this review space. And this is why I know about it and why I'm passionate about it. So that's a little bit about me. And hopefully I'm giving you the confidence and trust to know that I'm talking. Let's take a look at the crisis of trust that we're currently find ourselves in. Our world is in a crisis of trust. We see this in many different areas right now, whether it's in industry and large companies like Facebook, whether it's in the government and where we find ourselves right now with COVID and the distrust between people and government, or even the federal government and local governments here in the United States, or in society with the different movements that are happening right now, like the Me Too movement or the Black Lives Matter movement. We see this level of distrust across this landscape and impacting our world. It doesn't stop there though. It also impacts us in our businesses. G2 did a survey around buyer trust in 2019. The punchline: SaaS buyers don't trust sales and marketing. When it came in the survey and said, which teams do you trust? What you can see here is only 6 and 7% of people trusted sales and marketing teams. In addition, if you think about the other portion of that, those sales and marketing teams that are trying to do business, we asked them, is it harder or more difficult to gain a prospect's trust? What you can see here is 75% of them said it's more difficult to gain that trust of a prospect. They also said it's 65% harder for them to do their jobs effectively. So what we can see is this distrust that's impacting our world. It's also impacting us in our day-to-day businesses and technology. Here's a quote from Brian Halligan, the founder and CEO of HubSpot. Who do they trust? People trust their peers. We need to be able to trust someone. And if we're seeing this crisis of trust and a distrust with sales and marketing, we have to ask ourselves, who do people trust? And what we find with these purchasers looking for software, looking to make a purchase, they trust their peers. So we've established that there's a crisis of trust. What do we do in response to this? Mark Benioff, the founder and CEO of Salesforce, said this: trust has to be the highest value in your company. And if it's not, something bad is going to happen to you. We are in a new world, and trust better be number one. This means we can't be ignoring this crisis of trust. We need to look for ways that we engage with our customers and our prospects to build trust with them. Here's Stephanie Buscemi, EVP and Chief Marketing Officer, also at Salesforce, said, people are no longer going to work with brands based on the strength of your product or service. They're going to work with the companies they trust. This idea of trust with your customers, with your prospects, if you think about a pyramid like we're showing here, trust has to be that foundation. Without that, you will not be trusted in order to have a good engagement with those customers and prospects. And then based on that engagement, good growth with them. So this foundation we need to be after right now stands firmly on trust. Tactically, what does that mean for us? If we think about the B2B playbook that we typically run as companies, it has to evolve. Thinking about before and future. We can't just go and have perfect branding and story on our website, perfectly scripted white papers, marketing videos that tell our narrative in a highly formal and fashioned way, static testimonials that we publish, and an overflux of emails that we send outbound. We need to think about how we're engaging with our prospects and customers. Changing this also to look at how we can leverage third parties to help in that. Yes, you need to have a good message on your own website, but you also should be mindful of having a good, solid profile about your product and company on third-party websites. Not just having white papers written, but digging down and looking for unique, personalized insights you can bring. So where I want to focus our time for the remainder of this that we have together here is specifically around reviews and the power that I established earlier that reviews can have, and how we can utilize those reviews to drive that trust that we're finding is in crisis. Another survey we ran here at G2 said that 45% of respondents said we usually engage sales professionals only when we've made a purchase decision. Let that sink in for a second. 45% of people are making up their mind on their decision before they've even reached out and engaged with your sales team. That's staggering. How do we engage those folks? How do we get in front of them and actually make sure that our companies, our products are having the face and the picture we want to put out to them while they're making that decision? That same study we ran here at G2 showed that if you think about these purchasers, those 45% of people making up their minds, where are they doing that? How are they making up their minds? Well, on top of funnel research, when they're early in their purchase stage and trying to think about who they might want to go with, 3 areas stuck out. The vendor website, your own website. Like I said, it's got to be good and tell your narrative. But in addition, followed quickly by peers and colleagues and a public product review websites, just like we have here at G2. If we look at the bottom of funnel research, these are people who are much closer to their buying decision, getting ready to want to make that purchase decision. And what we found is the number one item they said they would go to as a source to power their decision was independent product service reviews. And 22% of them said that. So whether it's top of funnel and forming an opinion or bottom of funnel and getting very close to that, off-site reviews and these review sources play a critical component that you need to be aware of. One rebuttal I hear often when I talk about this is, that's great, Marty, but my product, it's too niche. People probably are not out there looking for reviews on my product. Well, I want to challenge that. Let's take a look at a few examples that we have live here on G2, our website. How many people here wear contact lenses or glasses? In order to get those, you're going to an optometrist. Believe it or not, there's actually optometry software unique to that market that optometrists can be using. And when you think about those companies wanting to think about making a purchase decision and getting an optometry software, they can come to G2. There are reviews written on that software. How many of us have actually gone to a college? I'm willing to bet a vast majority of us. Well, those colleges want to target alumni, make sure they're staying engaged with you, show the proof in how well different people who graduate from their school are doing. Well, they might want an alumni management software to figure out how they maintain those contacts, just like a CRM specific for the alumni. They can find that software with real reviews written about it on G2. Association management. Best car dealership software. Maybe this would have helped in that earlier story I told. And last, church management software. People running their churches and wanting to think about software they could use to help them run them. Reviews are written. So I hope with this, what I can do is dispel the idea that your software is not too niche. 45% of those buyers making decisions are out there reviewing and looking for reviews. And even the niche software is out there and has reviews written about it. So we know that people are reading reviews. We know these reviews sit on these third-party review sites. How can you trust me to know that there's enough people looking at them? Well, here at G2, we're just one review site. There are others out there. And with ours, you can see we're driving over 5 million buyers visiting each and every month to g2.com, looking at products, looking to read reviews about those products. Over 1 million reviews that we have, and over 90,000 different products. So these review sites that are out there, G2 being one of which, have a ton of eyeballs from people. And this is where they're going to make that informed opinion and getting closer to that decision point about products like your own. In addition, we're all dealing with this new reality of COVID right now. And that's changing and impacting the traffic that we're seeing of people online. How's it impacting G2? Great question. Buyer traffic for G2 is actually accelerated with the impact of COVID. What we're finding is 1.4 million people visiting per week. That's over 49% increase month over month, 86% increase year over year. And these buyers that are coming to G2 are coming to look at these reviews. What they're doing is they're leaning in to want to learn. They're scrutinizing their existing tech stacks. They want to find savings across where they're using different software, and they want to address any security or privacy risks. One of the data points we're sharing here is 30% of software licenses go unused. That means for your product or software that's out there right now, 30% of the people installed and have a license on there are not using it. When companies are looking at the impact from COVID-19, think about what they can do. Some of them are looking across their tech stacks to say, how can I consolidate? Or maybe, how can I add something new in order to make my team more efficient to be able to do more with less? Let's think about the impact that people can get when they actually capture reviews on these websites. Here's an example from Sisense. What Sisense did was they used these written reviews written by different people about their software. Those reviews get aggregated into different reports. That's something we do here at G2. One of those reports is called the comparison report. And what it'll do is it look at the scores of 2 to 4 products and compare them side by side based on written reviews. And what Sisense did, they said using G2's compare reports helped us reach and capture prospects in a way that yields much stronger results. The voice of the customer is more important than ever, and we see the results of our campaigns using G2. What they saw here was actually a 16x impact to ROI using this content, using these reviews that was written. Let's take a look at one more. CloudCherry. Here you can see James Gilbert saying, G2 is our #1 highest performing and most influential marketing touch point. Out of 44 total tactics we use in marketing mix, #2 are monthly demand gen webinars. So again here, CloudCherry, by getting the voice of their customer captured into reviews, then aggregating that data into a comparison report. So how can you take advantage of this? I hope that I've convinced you that reviews are powerful. We're in a state of distrust, and reviews can help you earn trust and reach prospects who are making decisions about your software in a trusted way. How can you lean into this? Well, you can click here and follow up after. G2's put together a step-by-step marketing playbook that talks about what you can do, but it falls into 3 buckets. First, capture the customer voice. You guys are all looking at Influitive. You know you want to engage with your ambassadors. What I hope I'm convincing you of is to take a slice of that ambassador's time to take time to write reviews and capture their voice, whether it be both written or video reviews across your product lines. Once you've done that, you could amplify the voice of these ambassadors by utilizing these reviews that are written or an aggregation of data from those reviews in reports that you can then use across social channels or marketing campaigns to generate pipeline for your business. And third, here at G2, we have a concept that we call buyer intent. And what this means, the 5 million people coming to look on G2.com at different products and reviews that are written. We will look at the companies that are doing that viewing and the intent they have to want to purchase an offering. We can then make that available to sellers like yourselves who are listed on G2. And you can use that intent data to influence ACV in your ABM strategies. What I'd urge you today is to get started. Influitive and G2 have an integration that's existing today. You can use the platform on Influitive to put in front of your ambassadors and ask to write reviews and capture reviews about your products. And in so doing, capture their trust of that 45% of people who are going out and looking to make a decision about software like yours. Take advantage of that today. Thank you so much for your time. I truly hope this was a valuable use of time. Please put any questions you have in so we can actually have a good dialogue with our remaining time together. In addition, I hope that you can also take the one learning that you had and add it in so we can see and learn from each other what that one actionable item is we want to do. I'd love to see it, and I'd love to hear from you. Also, you know I value reviews. I can't leave here without plugging this. Please go to this tinyurl.com/Marty Duffy. I would love for you to take 2 minutes and give me a review. It's 2 simple questions. NPS of 1 to 10. How did I do today? And any feedback you have for me. I'd love to hear from you so I can continue to get better because I love learning. Thank you so much for your time.